to Sandburg. Enjoy the anniversary today.
The man that has dedicated the last 21 years to making Sandburg the greatest school in the district. Put your hands together for the one, the only, the amazing Mr. Bacon!
David, you read that script that I wrote for you perfectly. Thank you so much. All right, 50 years is just not a very long time. Those of us who are old enough probably remember 1969 very well. I know I do. I remember being a new student at 35th Street School in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and my teacher, Mrs. Jesmock, who saw something in me as a fourth grader and gave me some extra opportunities that impacted who I am today. Maybe some of you remember being here at Sandburg 50 years ago. Ben Heaton was the principal that year and recalls the move to this building in April of 1969, and then the dedication in October of the same year. So if you were here in 1969, student, teacher, staff member, family member, or anyone else attached to 1969, please stand. Anyone who was here in 69. Look at this. Thank you for coming. Up to my right, near the front, is a kindergarten teacher who was here in 69. She wasn't able to stand, but let's hear it for Max McLean. Give it to Max. Max introduced me to the fact that Sandburg is a family, and your family's here today, Max. All right, I'll never forget the next 10 years. In 1979, that was a pretty big year for myself. That was the year I met a wonderful young lady who would a few years later become my wife. I think I saw Sharon where's Sharon? You might make you stand up. Where are you? She's way back there. Sharon Bacon, my wife. Sandburg was in his 10th year as a school. David Schultz was the principal. His love of reading, gentle spirit, and sense of humor were evident as he led Sandburg into the next decade. If you were a student, teacher, staff member, or family member, anyone at Sandburg from 1969 to 1979, please stand. By the time 1989 rolled around, I had been teaching physical education in District 200 for a few years. Ben Heaton, who was the first principal of Sandburg, was principal of Lowell School at the time, and he was responsible for giving this young PE teacher his first teaching job. I'm forever grateful. Sandburg was well established with a 20-year history. During the early 80s, George Timpson was the principal. I called him up a few weeks ago, and he regrets that he could not make it today, but shared with me many fond memories. What he recalled the most were the wonderful people. By 1989, Peg Samples had been principal here for 5 years. If you are part of Sandburg history, from 1979 to 1989, please stand. Well, 1999 was quite a year. It was marked by Peg Samples' retirement and the dedication of the Peg Samples Reading Garden, established in recognition of Peg's passion for reading and making sure all children were given the very best opportunities to become passionate readers themselves. It was also my first year here at Sandburg. I remember my first day like it was yesterday. I experienced a warm welcome and vividly remember one teacher saying, "Welcome to Sandburg. You are now one of us. You're a Sandburger." I've used that phrase ever since. One of the best days of my life. If you are part of Sandburg's rich history from 1989 to 1999, please stand. Thank you. By the time 2009 rolled around, I had figured out that Sandburg was a pretty spectacular school. Sandburg students, staff, families, and the community together made Sandburg one of the best kept secrets around. If you were a student, teacher, staff member, or family member of anyone at Sandburg from 1999 to 2009, please stand. And here we are today, in 2019, celebrating our 50th anniversary. The last decade seems like a blur to me. It has included rapidly changing trends in instructional technology, increasing awareness of school safety measures, and a more intense focus on the social and emotional wellness of students. If you are a student, teacher, or staff member, or family member of anyone at Sandburg from 2009 to 2019, please stand. Well, a lot has changed since 1969, but one thing has remained. Sandburg has always been a compassionate learning community. It has always been about the students, their families, our staff, and the Sandburg community. That's why we're all here this morning, to connect with all of the people that have added to the Sandburg story. Like I said, 50 years is not that long, but it has been long enough to build the kind of legacy that has lasted to this day. It's the legacy that has always put kids first, their learning, their needs, their well-being. Thanks to Sandburg, men and women today are spread across the globe being the difference makers this world so desperately needs. And thanks to all of you who have been part of the rich 50-year history here at Sandburg, this legacy will continue. Sandburg students today are being equipped to shape the future. And I'm certain that this legacy will continue for the next 50 years and beyond. So, whether you've been part of the Sandburg legacy for 50 years or are a newcomer, you are one of us. You're a Sandburger. And I'm sure you know, once a Sandburger, always a Sandburger. Thanks for celebrating with us today, and thanks for your part in making our school what it is today.